Everyone, welcome to another video. So in some hours from now, the budget for 25-26 will be presented by the Finance Minister. That's 1st of Feb. This will be the 8th budget that Nirmala Sitharaman will be presenting as the Finance Minister, which in itself is an historic moment. The current situation of the country is such that the growth is quite low at 5.4%. In order to achieve the target of Viksit Bharat by 2047, the growth rate shall definitely increase from 5.4% to 8% and then continue at 8% for many years to come. And therefore, to achieve this and in relation to this particular target, there are a lot of expectations from the government with this particular budget. And in this video, we'll put across 5 such famous expectations from the government. The first one is housing tax breaks. Well, if you happen to purchase or construct or build a particular house or a flat and you've taken a loan for the same, then you would incur interest on a monthly or a yearly basis. That interest cost, you can use it to set off against any other income when you compute your taxable income. In other words, the current loss allowed for set off is 2 lakhs and the expectation of the government is to increase this to 3 lakhs. This expectation could be there because the government is trying to promote housing for all or affordable housing currently in the country. The second one is allowing reductions under some sections. Well, currently it is a new tax regime that is prevailing. There is of course the old tax regime, but slowly the government is trying to scrap out the old tax regime. And there were some important sections like 80G, which is still applicable for the old tax regime. 80G is a section where if you give donations, that is if you give donations from your pocket, the amount that you incur as donations will be allowed as a deduction when you're computing your taxable income. Now this is allowed only under the old scheme currently. And now the expectation is that the government, which is trying to promote the new tax regime, should also allow important sections like 80G as a deduction under the new tax regime as well. Third is to increase the basic exemption slabs, which is a famous and a most wanted expectation. Well, currently under the new tax regime, the first slab for taxation is 3 lakhs. Below 3 lakhs, there's no requirement to pay any tax. It's called the basic exemption limit. And the expectation here is to increase this limit from 3 lakhs to 5 lakhs. In other words, up to 5 lakhs, there'll be no tax. At least if the slabs are not increased, the expectation is to change the tax rates or reduce the tax rates, so that to provide some kind of relief to the common people. Fourthly is to aim for more spending on education. But in fact, a lot of interviews are taken from the public prior to the budget, and the common feedback here is that the education sector should be given more thrust. India's education sector is one of the largest in the world, and therefore with the advent of AI and machine learning, the government should focus at around 9% of the country's GDP towards education. And finally, it is tourism. Well, just after COVID in 2023, the total value of international travel is around $33.3 billion. India as a country which is quite large has a good potential for tourism, but basic things like infrastructure, connectivity or Wi-Fi, safety, etc. are things that are still to be improved, put in place in order to have more trust and reliance and revenue generation from tourism sector. Well, these were some of the famous expectations, and therefore the government's main aim is to increase growth at least to 8%, and for this to happen, they need more consumption or more spending from the people. And in order to increase spending, people should have more disposable income in their hands, because if they have more disposable income, with that income they'll buy more goods and services and therefore incur more GST, and that will be a revenue generation for the government. So if taxes are reduced, then spending will be increased because you'll have more income, more consumption, more GST, and therefore GDP will go up. And this is one of the famous ways in which the government is trying to increase consumption, and therefore the expectation of the government, the most famous one, is to reduce taxes. Well, I hope I was able to make things clear through this particular video. If you want more videos like these on a regular basis, you could think of hitting on the subscribe button. Till then, I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care and thank you.